There was a case where it appeared that Graf wanted, all the urges were to come to the net, but she just couldn't get herself to move forward and was caught in a bad position for that forehand. Another break point for Chris.
Net break service.
Evert Lloyd now in command of this second set, 3-love. Things looking rosier for the defending champion, Chris Evert Lloyd. 3-love lead in the second set, down a set.
Love 15.
Chris has lost only 2 matches all year. She's 26-2 coming in. Lost to Monlikova in New York and Martina in Dallas. Caught the sideline. Love 30. I think one of the statistics that really is so impressive about Chris Evert Lloyd is since 1980, as much as she plays, she has never lost more than 8 matches in a year during this decade. 8 is the most. She's right on target this year, 26-2.
The most consistent player in the history of professional tennis.
Oh! 15-30.
Well, a pretty interesting stat is the first point theory. You've got to win that first point. 3 games in the first set, and Chris has lost the first point, and she got her serve broken. So, see here how it goes.
Oops!
Whoa.
That's her first ace.
30 all.
Now, this is an improved Chris Evert Lloyd serve. Look at that liner. She's tried to switch from just using her arm to using more of her legs. And if you watch her here, you'll notice a deeper knee bend on her serve.
The defensive lob, a key to that point for Lloyd, Evert Lloyd. 40-30.
Well, that's the most frustrating thing about Chris. When you play her, it seems like she always chooses the right shot. When she's falling down, she hits a lob. When she's out of position, she hits a cross-court angle. That's her best attribute.
3-1 advantage, working on the backhand of Graf. Love. At this point, Joanne Russell, Graf, let's get into her mind a bit. Now, she's up a set, but obviously in trouble here in the second. How soon does one start to think about the third set?
Well, she could be thinking about it right now, but what she should be thinking about is getting at least one game.
Why?
Ace, third for Graf.
A 6-0 set is not a positive note to move into a third set against Chris Evert Lloyd. Hey, if you're playing Joe Schmo, great, because you know you have that confidence to beat her, but Chris is a different person.
Love. Do you try to change your style here, down 4 love? Do you work on something different, try to give her something else to think about?
Yes, that's the idea. Change up, maybe go to net, hit a top spin, hit an ace. But the idea is to get one game and take that positive note into the third set.
A break there. 40 love. Trying to hold her serve. She's lost her service the last 3 times.
And here's Steffi. She's saying, hey, this is for me. I want this game.
$20-15.
And she holds, and it's 4-1. Chris Evert Lloyd trying to even this match. We'll be back after these words from your local station. We'll find people at Family Circle Magazine. His wife, Mary Elizabeth, enjoying the sunshine. It's been a terrific week of tennis. Jack Jones, John Marino.
I saw John Marino there, former Southern California top player. Yeah, he still plays very well. Oh, this tournament for the women, I'd say, is the #2 outdoor event, right behind the U.S. Open.
Love 15.
So here in the United States, you rated right up that high, huh? It long has been the kind of the coming out party for women, hasn't it?
It was really a breakthrough for the women. When they gave a $30,000 first prize in 1973, most tournaments weren't giving total prize money of that much for the women. So Family Circle has stood behind them on their long way. Moon ball.
Steffi Graf earns it.
30.
And Chris did everything this match. She lobbed, change of pace. That was a slice two-handed backhand. And Steffi just canes that ball on that forehand side.
Canes that ball. Triple break
kings.
point.
And here's another love 15 start for Chris in this game. That first point is so important. It changes the whole complexion of the game.
One break point erased. Steffi Graf trying to get back one of the two breaks she's down here in the second set. Won the opening set 6-4.
And she obviously wasn't thinking about the third set when she was down 4-love. She felt she could stay in, and she is in if she gets this point.
Well, that's what I mean about that one game. You have to have one positive thing to grab onto, and then you build on that.
Ooh, double faults it away, and it's 4-2 Evert Lloyd in the second set. Action of the 14th annual Family Circle Tennis being brought to you by today's Chevrolet. And we invite you to live the style, the performance, and the fun of Chevrolet in '86. By Stouffer's Entrees and Lean Cuisine Entrees, quality prepared foods for the way people eat today. By Tyson Entrees, your passport to a world of great taste. And by Del Monte Fruit Snacks, a powerful good snack. Steffi Graf down 4-love in this second set. Has won the last two games. As she tries to accomplish something that has escaped her brilliant young career. Beat Chris Evert Lloyd, and more importantly, win her first professional title.
She can hold her off.
30 love.
Well, there's still a lot of this match left. I don't think she should be wondering that.
I'm wondering it.
And this, now look, this is the wrong place. She moved too close to the middle. Steffi uses that topspin.
Mm-hmm. Well, Graf has impressed all with her ability to stay with the champion from the baseline. She certainly has held her own in the long rallies, and no one can fault her stroking of the ball in these first two sets.
And as Joanne said earlier, her legs, her quickness.
The thing I'm most impressed about with Steffi Graf's backhand is that slice. Usually what happens on a slice backhand, it tends to sit up if you come under it. But through a set and a half, Steffi's had stayed down low and given Chris a lot of trouble.
Each woman has won 8 games. Graf took the opening set 6-4, trails 2-4 here in the second, 40-30. very big point won by Chris Evert Lloyd.
Deuce.
Graf at 40-15, a point away from closing the gap to 4-3 in this second set.
Did you see her play when she was 13, Joanne?
Steffi? Yes,
Yeah.
I did.
Wasn't that something? Long hair, nearly down to her shoes. And she was playing a lot of serve and volley then.
Gave that lady a look and a half.
Barbara Stell was a little bit late with the call.
Steffi hits this. It's pretty close here. And Chris doesn't even hit it back. Once again, that's pretty brave, but you trust the linesman to make the right call.
That's wide. So break point erased by Graf. Chris was sitting on a chance to take a 5-2 lead here in the second set. One thing for certain, Steffi Graf will go home tonight knowing she hit her share of backhands. Had plenty of chance to work.
And here's the Steffi Graf backhand. That was a topspin, but once we go high to low, that's her slice, and that's her bread and butter backhand. She's used that 3/4 of the time in this match.
Wide.
Woo.
That's the third deuce of this game, becoming the longest game of the match.
And the legs brought Graf back into that point, but she muffed the forehand.
We notice how she went for the line on that ball. Chris makes you do that. She knew Chris was going to get it, so she goes for the line and makes an error.
Good serve.
Advantage Graf.
That is an incredible advantage that Evert Lloyd has. She plants that seed, and what a terrible vice she puts her opponent in, having to play perfectly.
Fort Lauderdale vice.
Steffi Graf has won the last 3 games as young Steffi Graf. Again, to repeat what we offered at the very start of the match today, Steffi Graf was less than 1 year old when Chris Evert Lloyd beat Margaret Court back in 1970. And here she is trying to defeat Chris Evert Lloyd, win her first pro title. Graf has won the last 3 games and continues to battle from the baseline.
And here's Steffi Graf's slice backhand. Notice how she gets the racket head up high and goes low. She's got a nice, solid slice. She never varies.
When I said, can Chris hold her off, I was starting to get the feeling that this kid was playing Chris stroke for stroke for stroke for stroke and was a little quicker and was starting to believe she could win it.
Well, it's a huge game. Chris Evert Lloyd needs to hold to go up 5-3. Should Graf break her again, it's 4-all, and then you really have to think that this is the day for the 16-year-old. Rare unforced error from Chris to make it 30-all.
And Chrissy has said many times she doesn't have the patience of old. She doesn't like rallies this long anymore. They used to be her meat.
Just long.
40-30.
And you can see the spring left in Steffi Graf's legs. Look how far she is on the backhand side to get to that forehand. And she really does hit it well. In fact, she hits it better from the backhand side than she does from the forehand side.
Three straight forehands from Graf, and 2 of those that inside out cross court, and boy, the ball does jump off her racket from that forehand side. Four, 3 deuce, second set. Graf up a set. Wide. Break point Graf, a point away from 4-all.
Now what Steffi's done with her forehand here is, for the first set and a half, Steffi has gone, she's run around the backhand and gone back to Chris's backhand. Now, last 2 points, she's gone down the line to Chris's forehand.
Gets a second ball. Chris again. 4 straight games won by Steffi Graf, and they're even in the second set. Graf having won the opener 6-4. Reminder coming up next, Superstars on NBC Sports. Oh, you're going to see some of the greats from football. Willie Gault of the Super Bowl champion Bears. Mark Gastineau will do the Bud Collins Shuffle. We understand Vince Coleman of the Cardinals and many other the top stars. You see them in activities not so commonplace for them. Watch them compete on NBC Sports World next after our action from the Family Circle Cup.
You see Gastineau with Oleg Cassini in that size 67 suit he was wearing? My God.
I'd just like to see him in a pair of your pants. Suddenly, it is Evert Lloyd making the unforced errors, and Steffi Graf down 4-love in this set.
And the old standby that Chris uses is play steady, and that is not good enough against Steffi Graf.
Kid believes now. She is scaling that Himalayan peak of the mind. The psychological heights of Chris Evert.
Watch Steffi Graf's forehand. Chris tries a drop shot, and it's a good one, but Steffi gets there in plenty of time and has a lot of zip behind that ball.
That point, like the last 4 games, Graf just playing flawlessly.
Well, she's in a groove now. Chris has not